Behind the doors of this mysterious temple lies the secret of how some members of a rich Asian elite grow their penises by 4, 10, or even 15 inches in just a couple of weeks, while erasing literal decades of small penis shame, and going from this to this, or even from this to this. Their secret, a tantric coming-of-age ritual that happens once a year, where they drink a sweet elixir made of the rarest Eastern Asian plants, make sacrifices to their gods, and watch as their members grow bigger, throbbing with sexual energy and power. How do I know all of this? Because by a weird twist of fate, I've been there. And I have never felt so powerful, so dominant, like a real alpha male, especially after I've had no less than 3 women in a row. I could still see how big my penis looked in their hands, and how the more sex I had, the stronger I felt. How the intense orgasms hit me one right after another, making my body shake because of how intense they were. So, if you stay with me until the end of this presentation, you too will find out how to easily increase the length of your member with at least 67% in just a couple of short weeks. Getting a penis that would make any woman's jaw drop when your pants come off. How to get erections so strong and long-lasting that she'll be begging for a break. And how to get the kind of sexual confidence that will turn you into a female magnet, making them line up for a spot in your bed. Because, as you're about to find out, penis size has absolutely nothing to do with age, lifestyle, or physical changes, and instead hindered by a DNA flaw happening right now inside your body that could lead to other possible issues down the line. Issues such as weight gain, hair loss, skin disease, and even tooth decay. So stay with me, because in the next 5 minutes, you'll find out everything about how this faulty speck in your DNA is stifling your growth, and how once you activate it, you'll need XXL-sized condoms, and the 2,000-year-old elixir that will double or even triple your dick size in just a few short weeks. Trust me, once you discover this, the results you'll experience will be close to nothing you've ever felt before. You'll be hung like a stallion and strong like a bull, with endless stamina and a teenager's sex drive. Your orgasms will be more intense, you'll be jizzing buckets, and your partners will always be asking for seconds. So if you want your ex to crawl back to you, begging for a bit of your attention, or seeing women desperately trying to get close to you after they've mistakenly rejected you, this solution is for you, specifically. And that's not to mention the other health benefits that's more than 35,500 men from all over the world experienced. I've had guys write to me and say that they lost incredible amounts of weight and built muscle mass without ever stepping into a gym, or that their hair got thicker and shinier, while their skin looked and felt completely rejuvenated. And I know this sounds too good to be true, but just take it from people like Aizen Z, 45, Iowa, who wrote to me and said, "This stuff's incredible. The more I used it, the bigger my penis got. And now my wife is so desperate to get her hands on me that I can't even get a good night's sleep anymore. She's just riding me to the point of exhaustion." Or maybe Robin M, 55 from New York, who sent me this email saying, "Arnold, you single-handedly saved my marriage. I've been suffering from ED for almost as long as I can remember. But as soon as I tried your method, my wife fell in love with me all over again, and honestly, I get it. I feel 20 years younger, and my penis looks and acts the part now. Thank you 1,000 times, thank you." Or even Marissa C, 41 from Florida, who wrote to me and said, "I got this stuff from my husband. He used to be so small I could barely feel him. But now all I can think about is his huge penis. It's impossible to even focus on my work because all I want to do is get home faster and rip his clothes off. I get orgasms so intense that I didn't even think were possible because no man has ever reached my G-spot before. Our marriage has never been better or sexier. Thanks, Arnold." See, all these men put their trust in me, defied nature, and are now experiencing massive growth. And in just a few moments from now on, you'll be enjoying the same results. I mean, just imagine being able to turn the shiniest bookworm into an unleashed nympho. how you'll be leaving any woman shaking like a leaf and begging for more. Imagine being able to finally have sex with that girl you've been crushing on and make her regret not talking to you sooner. Or being able to have any woman you'd like, be it that hot redhead at the club, the blonde bombshell at the beach, or that coworker of yours that likes to play hard to get but always wears skirts that are just too short. No matter how old you are, how you look, how much weight, or how much money you have, because this method simply works. In fact, it's now being confirmed by scientists from reputable institutions such as Harvard and Oxford, and sex part experts from the American Board of Sexology. But do you know who refuses to admit this method works? The ED industry that projected to reach $3.2 billion by 2022. And it would be a shame if an all-natural, dirt-cheap trick like this were to cut off those profits, right? Truth is, your small penis helps some wallets get huge. So of course, no one would willingly release such a discovery. Look, I know it might be hard to answer these questions, but I want you to be honest with me. Has any woman ever come back for seconds? Have you ever been the butt of the jokes between her and her friends? Did it ever die on you just as you were about to have sex or during? Have you ever felt like your woman could have been more satisfied? Do you feel like you've given her the best sex of her life? Or was it just bland and mediocre like unseasoned rice? Has any woman ever choked on your massive penis or begged to suck your dick? Do women you know 10 years ago still check up on you and insist you go out for coffee? Has any woman ever told you that she wanted to know you better because she heard about you from a friend? If not, you are missing out on such an amazing life. But there is an easy way to achieve this, and I'll prove it to you in just a moment. But first, I want you to know who I am and how I know all of this. Hi, my name is Arnold P. Joyce. I live in Cleveland, and for the past 15 years, I've been working as a medical research specialist in a well-known clinic that deals in male sexual health issues. Inch penis my whole life. As you can imagine, I was very self-conscious about this, to the point of frustration. Sure, women can say penis size doesn't matter, but at the end of the day, I never truly felt like a man. And this was the reason I never married. I'd be taking women home, things would get all hot and steamy, and suddenly she'd be stifling her laughter when I take off my pants. Foolishly, I thought that age would bring more wisdom, but the only thing it brought was extra weight and thinning hair. It was horrible. No woman wanted to be seen with me, let alone have sex with me. So over the years, I worked as hard as I could, pushing myself to the point of exhaustion to research new treatments and find out exactly what it works and what doesn't when it comes to penis growth. I'm proud to say that my team and I were behind the discovery and release of Uprima, a safe and more effective alternative for Viagra that works by activating the brain instead of the heart. This wasn't the only treatment I'd worked on. I helped study and discover natural supplements and methods that would help all the men out there improve their sex life and health. But every single time we would find something interesting and submit the paper for review, the big pharma lobbyists would just discredit it without any valid argument. They simply dismissed everything, even without batting an eye. Do you know what it feels like to see years worth of work just thrown in the trash? It was the most discouraging thing, especially considering that after analyzing what the competition had to offer, I swore I wouldn't touch any of those things ever again. I tested everything on myself. Viagra, Levitra, Cialis. They didn't work at all. On top of that, I've seen thousands of men who came to our clinic to get treated for the side effects. Nausea, tinnitus, dizziness, irregular heartbeat. These drugs are so dangerous, in fact, that between 2000 and 2010, they've been linked to more than 2,200 deaths. No matter how big the ED pills corporations want to keep this hidden, Viagra has killed 522 men during the first year it was introduced to the market. I knew I didn't want to become a number in that statistic, so I stopped taking them. Then you have the penis pumps. Sure, they provide temporary relief, but just imagine getting all hot and heavy with your partner, only to have her stare at you while you get the pump ready. As for the rest of them, we don't even recommend those at the clinic. All those creams, surgeries, and fake supplements are just a bunch of complete nonsense. They don't work because they're based on very old, very outdated science and don't even address the root issue of a small penis at all. But this really bummed me out. Was there really no cure for this? Was I, along with hundreds of men I've met, cursed to live with the small penis? The fact that all my hard work kept getting discredited didn't help either. Truly, I felt like I was at my lowest point, and the bad luck just kept going. You see, I've been pursuing one of a cab. As you can imagine, I was pretty hard by the time we got to my place, but as soon as I took off my pants, I could see the look of shock and disappointment on her face. She was desperately trying not to look at my penis, and I was expecting her to come up with an excuse for why she needed to vanish. And sure enough, she excused herself to the bathroom, before coming back and telling me that she forgot to take her dog to the vet and that she just had to leave for the sake of her pup, who badly needed medical treatment. Because the next Monday, as I was grabbing some coffee, I overheard a conversation between her and a few other female colleagues. He was just so small. Still haunt me to this day. I just wished Earth would open up and swallow me at that point. Wasn't it enough that she made me feel like crap that I wasn't even mad. I was just disappointed. So I just pushed it further with my studies, fearing the conclusion, because even after 20 years of hard work and hitting wall after wall, testing everything that's on the market and even the experimental stuff, there was only one logical explanation for which true penis enhancement was impossible to attain. And truth be told, I kind of knew the answer for years, but I just didn't want to accept it. You see, penis growth is directly related to genetics. What do I mean by that? Well, genetics is the most important factor in how the human body develops, and it differs from region to region. But why does this happen? Well, as this study further explains, your DNA contains a small gene named SRI, or the penis growth gene. That acts like a trigger to the series of events that determine how much of a man you are since the moment you are in the womb. How much testosterone you're getting and how big your penis is going to be by sending the necessary building cells to the tissue. Knowing this, scientists went further and studied the genetic pool of people from all over the world. And what they discovered left me in shock. In a study that's been buried by Big Pharma, they found out that the penis growth gene is more active in African males. This is why they have bigger penises than the average person. What this means is that the average African have been blessed with a penis growth gene that sends 2 to 4 times more building cells to the penis. At the opposite end of the penis scale, 98.6% of Asian men have a lazy penis growth gene. In many cases, but my excitement faded almost immediately. Genetics can't be altered at will, and because of that, I was cursed to live with a small penis. It seemed I'd hit yet another wall, but this one was impossible to break. All I could do was move on and try to come to terms with the idea that I'd have a flaccid thimble for the rest of my life. I would never find love, no woman would ever take me, and I would just die alone, probably in a nursing home, surrounded by people that didn't care about me. It was the most discouraging thing. The situation didn't look good at all, but one person was about to change everything. This is where I'll introduce you to one of my close friends and colleagues, Chen Lin. He was one of the most sought-after surgeons in our clinic, and we had been good friends ever since I successfully treated his brother's ED. As you've probably guessed, he's Asian. So naturally, he was born with a lazy penis growth gene. But did he really have such a small penis? Please don't jump to any conclusions yet, because the answer will definitely shock you. You see, he'd never been successful with women until recently, when he actually had to change his number a few times because they just wouldn't leave him alone. I deeply envied him because I thought that his success came from his wealth and status. However, and this next bit is very embarrassing for me to recount, one day I was minding my own business in the urinal, just as Chin walked in. And as soon as he unbuckled his belt, he pulled out the biggest anaconda I had ever seen. You wouldn't see something like that even on a blacked.com. It was so huge I could see it 4 urinals away. He was barely holding it with 2 hands and had to step away from the urinal as his jet was so powerful as a fireman's hose. I just couldn't stop myself from staring. How did this 5'2" Chinese guy get a rock, a member almost as long as a baseball bat? Did he have a full penis transplant? What the hell was going on? I felt a huge wave of embarrassment wash over me as I thought about my floppy peanut. And for a brief moment, I even hated Chen because of it. Sure, I was pretty small, but everything I've learned and known so far told me that he was supposed to be even smaller. I couldn't believe it. How did he get a penis that would make even black people envious? Mine looked like a toddler's compared to his. Was this some kind of fluke of nature? Did he get extremely lucky, like one of those tall Asian basketball players? No, it couldn't have been that. I'd seen Chin's penis in the past in the gym locker room, and it was way smaller than mine. There was definitely something else going on, and I just had to find out what. At that point, I was so curious that I forgot all about the embarrassment. So I asked him, "How did you get to that size? It used to be smaller in college." I swear he looked proud for a moment, then as if trying to hide a big secret, he quickly buckled his belt before hurrying out of the urinal. So I just followed him, begging and pleading with him to tell me his secret. I know how this must have looked from the outside, but at that point, I didn't really care anymore. He wasn't about to be easily persuaded, and I'm not proud to admit this, but I decided to guilt him into confessing. "How's your brother feeling lately?" He immediately stopped, turned around, and told me that he couldn't say anything while at work. So we agreed to have a couple of beers later that evening. And what he told me challenged everything I knew about penis sizes. At his place, I told him my story. He patiently listened, and when I was done, he went to his office and came back with a thick folder filled to the brim with papers. He told me that His life used to be hell before getting to that size, and I nodded. I knew all about the daily shame and frustration a small penis brings. That feeling of crippling humiliation and embarrassment was sadly very familiar to me. So how did he get over it? Well, he told me that just like me, he knew about the genetic side of things, and his battle against his small member led him to the same studies about the penis growth gene I had previously discovered. He'd seen that this gene can boost itself naturally, giving the African men the huge penises they are envied for, and triggering long-lasting erections and even improving a man's stamina. But could this gene be copy-pasted in white or even Asian guys? Well, he said that there was no way that could ever happen during our son for generations, and they never left the family. I was shocked. The ultimate remedy for small penises existed, and it was kept as a guarded secret by these rich Asians. Why didn't they release it to the world? They could have become even richer. Is there any way I can see this ritual? I asked. Apparently, you needed an invitation from an insider to get in, and with that, you also need to pay $50K as an entrance fee. There was no way a guy like me was going to get in. Look, I feel like I owe you after what you've done for my brother. This year's ritual is supposed to happen in a few weeks. My father gave me an invitation, but you could make better use of it, Chin told me. As you can expect, I wasn't going to let this slip by. I mean, I really had nothing to lose, and if it didn't work, I'd at least be the guy with the biggest penis around for a while. So I put all my savings into the plane tickets and preparations. I even took and this left me almost completely broke, but at the same time, I didn't care. It was all or nothing. I arrived in a small town in Thailand, and when the big day finally came, I was guided to a temple by an older Asian man to whom I had to pay the $50K. The doors opened, and I confidently entered the place, believing I'd be the big shot guy with the biggest dick around. But what I saw there left me speechless. Aside from myself and two black guys, the whole place was filled with Asian men, all with the biggest and thickest rods I'd ever seen. Yes, they were even bigger than a black man's. The whole thing was crazy. A couple of women were playing some weird chord instruments in the background, while the men were making offerings to a goddess statue, with the horny women jerking them off, so lusty for their big penises. Meanwhile, the men with smaller penises were lining up in front of an altar, where a priest gave them a potion. They bowed to the statue, and then the miracle happened. They got so big, so fast, I had to pinch myself to make sure it wasn't just a dream. Did these Asian men just defy nature and genetics on the spot? Was this real? Well, it definitely was, and I had all the proof I needed that getting a bigger penis isn't just a myth. So of course, I had to try it for myself. I went to the altar, I got the potion and downed it in one big gulp before bowing to the statue. And just a few minutes after, I felt it. It was like someone lit a fire under my penis. My groin went numb for a bit, but before I could panic, I was hit by a huge wave of horniness, so intense that it made me dizzy. My pants were incredibly tight at this point, and when I looked down, I understood why. I had in front of me the most powerful erection I'd ever experienced. My penis was throbbing, pulsating with power. It was like I had an elephant's trunk in my pants, and it kept going up as I watched it. Maybe my eyes deceived me, but I swear it was 2 inches bigger and even a bit thicker than before. At that point, I felt like the strongest man around. I was flooded by this masculine energy that was completely new to me. I couldn't resist anymore, so I looked around and saw this gorgeous Asian woman. Her silky black hair perfectly framed her porcelain face and went down along her full breasts. I signaled to her and she immediately came around, joined by 2 other beautiful females. I took the 3 of them in a row, in some positions that would put Kama Sutra to shame. And to fade in just a couple of days, and I wanted more. I wanted to feel like that every day because I had already tasted the forbidden fruit, and God, did it taste amazing. So I went back to the temple for another dose of the potion, but this time I took it with me. I had to study this mysterious mixture and figure out how to make the effects long-lasting. I went back to the US and borrowed the clinic's lab for a few weeks. I kept seeing myself growing old and alone because no woman would ever want me. My penis would just keep shrinking with age. I'd get even fatter and my hair would keep falling out. And in just a few years, I would be a bald, fat, impotent recluse. I couldn't allow that to happen, especially after I've seen that my dick could actually get bigger and thicker in such a short amount of time. So I went on with my renewed hope that I could restore my masculinity and pride and become the alpha male I deserved to be. And if those Asians can do it, why couldn't the rest of the men do it? So what followed were weeks of intense research on the potion that I brought with me. I tested and tested and tested some more until I finally figured out what plants were used. But most importantly, I found out that when combined, these plants acted as a natural booster to the penis growth gene, awakening it and pushing it to send more tissue-building cells to the member. In just 4 simple steps that are safe for the body and don't require an intrusive and expensive procedure. Step 1, awaken the dormant penis growth gene. Before we properly put this gene to work, we have to awaken it. And we start this wake-up call with berberine. This strong substance binds itself to the cells containing this gene and changes their function in order to revive it. By activating the metabolic master switch, berberine decides which genes are turned on and off, and in the right dosage, it will provide the much-needed assistance for the penis growth gene. The strongest and most potent variant of this is only found in the Chinese gold thread, a plant that had been used for thousands of years in tantric rituals all over East Asia. We continue this process with Banaba, also known as Pride of India. When dried for 3 weeks and ground into a powder, this little violet plant acts as the strongest antioxidant you can get, dissolving any harmful substances that keep the penis growth gene from being active. Both the Theravada Buddhism Tantra and the Kama Sutra mention this plant as a strong cleanser that preps the mind and the body for powerful experiences, such as out of and any outside factors that might put it back to sleep. Step 2, put the gene to work and add length and thickness. After the penis growth gene has been awakened, it's time for it to do its job. If you want to add several inches to your penis, you need more tissue building blocks. And for that, the penis growth gene needs to send some signals to the body. For that, I have extracted alpha lipoic acid from the husks of the rare Seneca rice. This variety is so scarce that it's only cultivated along the Yangtze River and is considered a luxury food by Chinese elite. I had to wait 2 months to get my hands on this, but it was so worth it. Because the alpha lipoic acid from this rice is such a strong amino acid that it acts as the main trigger for the penis growth gene. A study published in the Medicine from it for years. As an amino acid, It's also vital in laying the groundwork for the tissue building blocks. You can't raise a house without a foundation, right? Well, think of this as the foundation that the new tissue will be laid on. I noticed that one of the other ingredients used in the potion was sencha green tea, but after doing a bit of digging, I found out that due to its nature, it has to be boiled before being consumed, and during this process, it loses much of its properties. This explains why the effects of the original potion didn't last for long. So, I used its bigger, stronger brother, matcha. You see, the tea bushes selected for producing the matcha that I used are not exposed to the elements. They grow underneath special cloths that help protect the leaves from the sun, which accounts for matcha's superior benefits. Due to a unique blend of heightened and polyphenols, matcha will push the penis growth gene to generate tissue builders twice as fast. Step 3. Improve the blood flow for stronger erections. By this time, the penis growth gene is fully awakened and ready to send tissue builders to your penis. You even have a solid foundation laid on. Now, all you need is a constant stream of healthy blood full of tissue builders to your penis. And for that, I use resveratrol, found in a rare species of grape grown in Napa Valley. After weeks of studying these fruits, I found out that the highest concentration of resveratrol is only found in the 0.39-inch grapes. It's a strong compound that will help relax your blood vessels while regulating your blood pressure. This will ensure a constant stream of tissue builders to your penis, resulting in stronger and firmer erections. Next comes the milk thistle. It has been nicknamed by the people in Thailand as the ultimate penis detoxifier, and for a good reason. With its strong antioxidant properties, it boosts the health of your blood, which leads to a higher tissue builders count. Of course, you need to make sure that the cell count is constant, and for that we have cayenne, more specifically the one nicknamed the long, thick red. Thanks to its blood flow boosting properties, it will make sure the stream entire process would be for nothing if you're not in the mood for some great sex. For that, I made sure to use the purest form of Korean ginseng root. In no time, it's also been known as one of the best remedies for ED. A study published in the Journal of Urology found Korean ginseng to be the best alternative for treating erectile dysfunction. The research analyzed the effects of Korean ginseng on 45 patients with ED over a period of 18 weeks. Participants took 900 milligrams of the root 3 times daily and experienced higher erection rigidity, better erection maintenance, and improved erection quality. I then decided to deviate a bit from the original recipe by adding zinc. I'm guessing you are familiar with the story of Casanova, right? Well, it turns out his big dick secret was gulping down 2 dozen oysters a day, which is the food highest in zinc. Worry not, you won't have to do any of that because I've added just the right amount, 11 milligrams. In this exact quantity, the zinc will greatly boost your libido and increase your potency. In one nutrition study, zinc-deficient men who supplemented with zinc for 6 months doubled their testosterone levels. This will turn you into the alpha male you truly deserve to be. And last but not least, I added chromium to this mix. Besides its testosterone-boosting properties, it also promotes fast weight loss, so you can be in your best shape for the best sex of your life. Trust me, women won't be able to resist you. As you can see, this new stuff is even stronger than the original Thai recipe, but I really wanted to make sure the results would be long-lasting, so I became my own guinea pig. And as soon as I took this new mixture, I noticed a surge of heat and energy going through me. This was definitely an encouraging sign, so I kept taking it twice a day, every day. And let me tell you, the results absolutely blew my mind. I was waking up with a boner every morning. My penis was so sensitive to the touch, and more importantly, it had grown 2 inches. At first, I thought my eyes were deceiving me, but the ruler didn't lie. This was it. And as days went by, my penis just kept growing, getting longer and thicker, checking in at a whopping 11.1 inches. On top of that, my body was becoming more toned, and my hair seemed shinier and thicker. This stuff was absolutely incredible. And while it was running out of the original potion, and the ingredients were not easy to come by at all. Luckily, one of Chen's friends was willing to hook me up for a hefty price. I also needed to see if this really worked on other men as well. So after getting my hands on a fresh batch of the ingredients, I offered this mixture to some of the patients from my clinic. And the results blew my mind. I mean, just look at what they had to say. Before trying this stuff, my penis was 4 inches and I was afraid to even approach women, let alone bring them back to my place. In just a few short weeks, my penis reached 6.4 inches and I have chicks blowing up my phone 24/7, says Joe M, 30 from Nevada. Or Alex P, 50 from Tennessee, who wrote to me and said, I'd been struggling with ED along with a way below average penis for over 20 years. This stuff is a true miracle. I feel like a sex god now, and my wife can barely keep her hands off me. Thank you, Arnold. The transformations these men experienced were unbelievable. Some even said they lost weight and that they had more energy during the day. I was determined to have this reach as many men as possible, but I needed to find a way to mass produce and distribute the stuff, and I didn't have the means to do that on my own. So I went to the clinic higher ups with my mix, and while they were definitely interested, they told me they'd have to put it through 4 to 9 years of medical trials, and that they'd have to replace all my natural ingredients with slightly altered versions of themselves. That basically meant that they'd use chemical substitutes to cut down on the production cost. If I accepted their offer, this would have resulted in a solution 10 times less effective, but 20 times more expensive than it should be. But I refused them. Instead, I took the offer of one of the first testers who was absolutely crazy for my mixture. He owned a small homeopathic facility in Arizona and offered to produce and distribute my supplement in exchange for a lifetime supply of the stuff. So the last thing I needed was to give it a name, and I decided to call it Aizen Power, the only formula that was designed with only one primary purpose: to help you get a longer and thicker penis. And each day you'll wake up, look at your morning wood, and be shocked by the growth you are seeing. Not to mention the surge of confidence you'll get, because you'll be an absolute alpha male. So now that you know all of this, I'm sure you're wondering how you can get your hands on Aizen Power. Well, the answer to that is a bit tricky. You see, the ingredients in their purest forms are so rare and hard to come by that it takes 3 months only to get them. And I'm not even counting the time it takes to prepare, dry, ground, and mix them all. Guys who already tried this keep asking me for more bottles. Hell, I'd even had to make a separate waiting list for the women who want this for their husbands. If you are getting impatient, I can totally understand you. I mean, secure anymore when you take off your pants in front of a woman or hiding from another man who is bigger than you. I know what that feels like because I've been there. But now that all my small penis problems are gone, you can surely imagine why I am planning to charge $290 for Aizen Power. Can you imagine how much money I would have made if I had charged all the 35,500 men this price? I would have been a millionaire. But this isn't about money for me. It's about doing the results. I want every man to feel like the alpha he is. That's why I won't charge you $290 or even $190 or even $90 for Aizen Power. So if you act today, while this website is still up, you can double or even triple your penis size. To regain your lost confidence and rediscover your masculinity. I've set up a discounted package of 6 bottles of Aizen Power for only $49 per bottle. Deal, and also your best chance of becoming the best version of yourself. So, if you are ready to claim your manliness and pride starting today, just click that Buy Now button and get your discounted package right now. The more you'll use this, the bigger your penis will. I mean, sure, 1 bottle of Aizen Power will turn your penis into a rocket, adding inch after inch to its length and making any woman crave you. But 3 bottles will mesmerize any woman. And 6 bottles of Aizen Power will unlock your penis's true size, putting its growth on fast forward and making sure that it stays here. Getting it to pump building cells to your penis 24/7. I mean, just imagine being the best sex of a woman's life. Imagine giving her body-shaking orgasms that leave her craving more. Imagine being able to get any woman into bed with you. That hot brunette you saw at the bar. Down the street. She'll be yours in no time. All it takes is just 6 bottles of Aizen Power. And because I want to really make sure this a no-brainer for you, you'll get free shipping on me for a limited time only, for as long as supplies last. That's right. No cost in a very discreet, unmarked package. On top of that, you are also covered by my ironclad 60 days, 100% money back guarantee. So, if for any reason you are not happy with Aizen Power, all you have to do is send me an email and I'll refund your entire purchase. Though, I have to admit, I'd be very surprised if you do have a complaint, because all the 35,500 men who tried this so far have been experiencing massive results that would put even black porn stars to shame. Anyway, I'm taking all the risks here, which means you've got absolutely nothing to lose. Aizen Power will change your life. It will turn you into the alpha wolf of the pack. You'll gain unspeakable levels of confidence, and most importantly, you'll be getting out of the shower with your third leg proudly dangling like a massive flesh pendulum. All of that at absolutely no risk. Well, unless you count the fact that this website might not be up in 1 week. You see, word about Aizen Power has been spreading fast, and it's just a matter of time until some slimy big pharma lawyers reach out to me, outraged that I'm putting their snake oil peddling at risk. I don't have the money to go through a lawsuit, so I'll be forced to take this down. And then I won't be able to help you, no matter how much I'd like to. But why would you even take that risk? I mean, Aizen Power has worked for more than 35,500 men just like you, and you are just a few short weeks away from the perfect length. Ultimately, the choice is yours. This presentation is almost over, so you do need to make your decision quickly. You can just exit this page and continue on with your day. That's absolutely not your choice. But if you are unhappy with your size, if you are having trouble keeping your lover satisfied, if you know she wishes you'd been born just a little bit bigger, then what's going to change? What will you do differently so that you no longer feel embarrassed or insecure when you slide down your pants? So if you don't have a good answer to that question, then I think your choice is a really easy one. But if you've stuck around this long, that means you're the type of man who faces his problems head on. Your car breaks down, you go get it fixed. Now it's time to fix your small penis problem. Face this problem head on. Go ahead and click on one of the Buy Now buttons you see below this presentation right now. Try Aizen Power for yourself, completely risk-free. You could be noticing incredible changes within hours and seeing incredible growth within days. Do that, and women will never look at you the same way again. And you'll never look at yourself the same way either. The choice is yours, but you already know what you need to do. Click on one of the Buy Now buttons right now. Take your free test run and completely change your life. Yours, Arnold P. Joyce. Still here? Can't say I blame you. I'd be pretty shocked too after finding out this incredible secret. So let me just go ahead and answer some of the most burning questions about Aizen Power. 1. I thought penis growth was a myth. Does this stuff really work? In short, yes, it does. Aizen Power contains a powerful mix of herbs that Asians had been using for centuries to defy nature, alter their genetics, and get bigger dicks. It works by activating the penis growth gene that every man has, pushing it to send more tissue building cells to your penis. The more cells it sends, the bigger your penis gets. It's simple stuff, really. 2. Can I take Aizen Power if I have allergies or use other supplements? Of course, we have made sure that this amazing penis enlargement weapon has no damaging effect on people who have various allergies, as the quantities of the ingredients inside are selected to be below the allergy triggering levels. Also, Aizen Power does not interfere with other supplements, as it targets exactly only the penis-related problems in your body. 3. What happens once I click that Buy Now button below? Once you choose your package, again, I highly recommend the 6-bottle one, you'll go to our 100% secure checkout page. You just enter your payment information and place the order. We'll immediately and discreetly ship your bottles straight to your house. 4. How long does it take to see any results? The battle against your small penis begins with the very first dose. The internal results are immediate, while the external results will begin to show in no time. 5. Okay, so how do I get started? Choose your package below and try it out for yourself for 60 days with absolutely no risk. If you are unhappy for any reason, you'll be given a prompt refund. So click below, fill in your payment details, and submit your order. I can't wait to hear about your results.